And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to another live edition of the Area Scouts ProCAST. We are live every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and currently on YouTube, and we have several live feeds going tonight through Facebook groups. We feature live special guest conversations with individuals in the sports industry today, many of which who are currently on board with us on the Area Scouts platform as professional advisors, directors, scouts, and evaluators. Most of those who have reached the ultimate level in the sports that they're concentrated on in our program. Area Scouts is a health initiative with a focus on athlete development for all sports, positions, skill sets for all ages of youth athletes. So my name's Lance Baldwin, and I'm the Area Scouts founder. We have, of course, every week, National Director of Sports Medicine and Performance, Dr. Anthony Anzillo, on with us. Tonight we have a special guest on the ProCast for our weekly conversation. We welcome Donnie Worthington. Thank you, Donnie, for taking the time out of your schedule to be on tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for having me.
The plan tonight is to open up with our normal 20, 30-minute conversation with Donnie, and then also we'll have, as always, the audience interact with Donnie with a few questions of their own. While we're live, we encourage you to visit areascouts.com for more information about our program and take advantage of the free athlete account offer on there. And like I said, I'm going to open it up with the conversation with Donnie, and we're just going to bounce some questions back and forth, and then we'll, like I said, have the audience interact a little bit. So, Donnie, I'm actually going to let you, you have quite an extensive background here, so I'm actually going to let you introduce yourself. I know you played at Kansas, and kind of tell us, maybe a little bit about your baseball experience from there.
Well, I guess, I started playing baseball at the age of 3, that's all I really liked to do was baseball. I played baseball, basketball, football, I guess you'd say, but I'm as prime focused on baseball. Ever since growing up, I grew up with the mindset, to play up, try to play in the tougher leagues. I wanted to play against the best players that there was. The only way you're going to get better is play against the best, and that meant from the age of 8, I was traveling all across the United States to try to go to different select teams to play baseball, all the way until when I got into high school, moving out of Texas to go to high school in Oklahoma, just because high school in Oklahoma had a better competitive baseball program at that time. So pretty much, that's all I've known is baseball.
Right. And so as far as let's go all the way back and kind of tell us about what you felt your youth baseball experience was at those early ages. Did you feel that you got really good direction? Were there certain coaches that were pivotal in kind of your initial development, and kind of bring us back there a little bit?
Yeah, I would say so. I grew up. My father coached me pretty much most of my life as a young kid. He was pretty pretty harsh on me, I guess you'd say, because what father don't want their son to be the best? So anytime I was going or we went somewhere, of course he would set the games up or the practices up where I might have been 7 years old and I'm playing with a group of 13-year-old boys at that time. So it was one of them things that he's going to push me and make sure that I was out there giving my best and doing everything I could. I actually got to get into all the all-star games at an early age as well. And I guess you'd say there's a Coach Nesbitt, that his son played. He played in college ball and stuff like that. We grew up through Robert Crawford's coach. We got to play with him, and he was a All-American as well. And it was fun. It was exciting. I never got to be that sideline guy and watch the games. I was always, if I played a game earlier that day on a Saturday at 2 o'clock, I had a game south of Dallas, by 5:30 that afternoon. So it was him running me around every single where there was. And I'd get done with that practice say I got done with the game around 8. When we got back home, it'd be 11 o'clock. I'm out there hitting 1,000 tee balls off the tee to try to work on my inside hands and to work on my feet placement and what I needed to do to adjust on that. So I mean, honestly, I'd have to say my dad was probably one of the best coach at the younger age that helped me keep pushing and keep striving to be better.
And was baseball always your primary sport, or did you have other sports you were playing at that time?
I was playing other sports, basketball and football as well. But yeah, baseball has always been my primary sport. I love it a whole lot better. It was just something that about it that it attached me to the game. I mean, who don't like that fresh smell of that cut grass early in the morning, to get to go out there and have fun.
Right. And so, fast forward a little bit. So you initially committed to University of Kansas out of high school. Can you tell us a little bit about that recruiting process and what made you decide to finally commit there?
Well, I had several D1s, several D2s, a lot of JUCOs offers. My primary target was LSU. LSU was about to get a coach. They call him the Smoke. They call him Smoke. Raymond Laval, was coming over to LSU at that time. And honestly, I mean, I was highly drafted by every college out there, but for some reason, I just didn't meet his height requirements. So one of my buddies that I knew that, Rich Price was leaving Cal Poly to be coming over there to Kansas. Well, I've worked out with him a couple of times, and I went up there and got to see what they was running and what he planned on doing with the University of Kansas with what their aspect was. And I loved it. I bought into it. He was the old Cincinnati Red style. He was a get on, get him over, and get him in. I mean, and I love that lifestyle of baseball. So I really bought into what he had to build.
Right. And so now, fast forward after Kansas, what was the process then? Did you were you drafted from Kansas? And what was that first experience that you had at the professional baseball level?
No, I mean, I had the chance to be drafted at that time. I just felt like I felt like I didn't get it all in at that point. I mean, it was kind of a big thing to go from a small school out of Oklahoma, and actually Oklahoma to a big D1 program and then go on up into the pros. So at that time, I thought, man, it'd be best for me. I mean, I was missing home a little bit. I wasn't putting in all the effort that I should have. So I thought I'll just go back into, Enduring, Oklahoma, and play for a local Southeastern Oklahoma State University. So I picked it up there a little bit and had a few calls and a few offers. And I stepped away from baseball for about 2 to 3 years until I had a manager, an agent, call me up and was like, "Man, we would really like to see you come back out and play." Sent me down to an Arizona Winter League, got me down there, got into a Florida Winter League, got into the Dominican Winter League, and then from that moment on, it was whatever team I was trying to get on. The Marlins picked me up, the Nationals. I mean, it was time to bounce around and play rookie ball, Double A and Triple A.
And was that your first affiliation with professional baseball? Was the Marlins?
Yeah, the Marlins was my very first. I'll never forget the call that he told me. He said, "I got a chance for you to play with the Marlins right now. We'll get you added on as what they call it is a player pickup through the spring training. You're not on the roster through the spring training, but you get to go in there and play 10 to 15 games, kind of show what you got and see where you go at that point." So, and I loved it. I mean, I hit good. I think I struck out one time. I didn't get on base once. I mean, I was hitting 640 in those 15 games. I did really, really outstanding.
Nice. And what did you notice was some of the biggest differences from the college level at Kansas, which is obviously a high level at D1, and then playing professionally at the level that you had? I know you took that time off, but was it a big jump that you saw even at the lower level?
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different ball game. I wish they would get these kids prepared because coming out of high school, you're going into somewhere that, baseball's a lot of mathematical. You'll start figuring out real quick, about the angels, all the analytics that go into hitting and stuff like that. I mean, you start learning a little bit more. When you get into the pros, I mean, there's a lot of paper time that you do, computer client time, and you really the best thing I thought, I mean, in college, it was work for me. I felt like it was work, like it was a job. Where in the pros, I got to go back to loving it and playing it because I didn't have all the weight on the world on my shoulders at that time. I got to go in and watch these guys really put in the work and really fundamentally, place yourself where you needed to be at to be able to get to that level. So, I mean, it was really different.
Right. And so you have a platform or an app for youth athletes, and wanted to kind of give you a little bit of the stage to explain what exactly that is and how you got into that, and really go into depth of how that is helping youth athletes.
Well, I got into it with a guy out of Arizona. His name's Brian. He had this platform already developed called Student Athlete Profile, the SAP app. And when we went to talking, and he was talking about a new update coming out and what he didn't like, what he didn't think that was going on, but he had all the right ideas. And the only thing that I advised at that time when we started talking about it was, let's spread it out a little bit more. We got these kids that's getting into the travel ball nowadays. Into college, when you're getting drafted and when you're getting committed into college, it looks a whole lot better if you have a huge platform built underneath you, where a college recruiter or a college coach can go in and say, hey, I've seen you play for these past 5 years. Yeah, you had an off season this one year, but you had a great time these other 3 years. Well, what this app is, I'm giving you the opportunity to reach out to every single college in the nation and let yourself be seen. Where these colleges that you normally wouldn't be able to get seen to, you can reach out to them personally as well and send them your profile, send them your videos, send them your stats, and let them come back to you. This way, you're in charge of your recruiting. You're going to put into something a whole lot more if it's over you, if it's for you to build. And I'm talking with any sports: softball, baseball, basketball, football, any of the sports. So I just widened the range up, and went from not just getting into college, but helping the guys that's in college that didn't get a chance to go play, didn't get drafted. I mean, well, there's several independent leagues that's out there. Me, myself, have played for a few. I've got a lot of the independent coaches on board with it as well. And that way, they give these guys a little bit more opportunity to go play somewhere else. I mean, let them get to playing. I mean, we got Baseball Pacifica going on. We got Baseball USA. We got Baseball Express going with it. We got the U-Trip softball going behind it for the girls softball and the men's softball leagues. I mean, this way, your dreams are not dead. I mean, we got it where anybody's dreams are still alive. If that's what you want to do, you can get on this app, build yourself a profile, regardless of what sports or what you're doing, and keep pursuing your dream, and at a low cost. So you're not out there spending $1,300 or $1,400. We're not doing that. We're not here to take and make a fortune off of you. Just like Shaquille O'Neal, when he built his brand and put his shoes in Walmart, that's what our goal is to. Let's reach everybody out there and give them an opportunity to keep on living their dream.
Now, is it something that the coaches have accounts on the application so that they can view the athletes, or do the athletes share the profile with the coaches, or both?
No, it's both. I mean, the coaches do have their own part of the app where they go in, set themselves up as coaches, and then they can go in and look at any kind of athlete they're looking for. Say they're looking at a third baseman and they want a powerhouse third baseman that hits a lot of power, hits for a lot of home runs. Well, with this app, that coach can go in and search that. Or if you've been sending him, emails to him and showing him who you are, that way he can save you in this app and then start looking to you, and they can talk directly. There's no middleman on this. You can start talking directly with the coaches out of the college, the coaches in the independent leagues, some of the coaches that's overseas right now that's working with Japan and, Australia, Spain, some of them coaches over there. Well, we got a lot of them on this platform that's about to be all over this platform. So that way we got a wide variety of not just in the States, but, overseas as well.
Right. And how do parents get the app?
Right now, we should have it released sometime by the end of this week. It's called Total Athlete Profile, the TAP app. All you have to do is go onto your, app store, look it up, download the app, and then it'll start walking you through the process of doing it. As same as it does with the coaches and stuff like that. There's a whole separate side of it for the coaches. If you're a coach or if you're a recruiter or an agent or somebody like that, if an agent's trying to sign onto it, they got a whole different side of the app. So yeah, as far as a player, I mean, all you gotta do is go online, go to your app store, the Play Store, or to your iTunes, and download it.
Excellent. So after the show, when we upload the final edited version of this, we add all the details from the show. We'll add the link down below for the YouTube video. So if you just can supply us with that information, we'll have
Awesome.
that updated probably in the next 36 or 72 hours or so on YouTube for anyone to go on there and download that.
Awesome.
And is the app for all sports?
Yes, sir. That's for all sports. It don't matter what sport you play. I mean, this is a way to get into any kind of college, win any kind of sport.
Okay. Um, so Anthony, I'm gonna kind of let you. I'm gonna grab a couple. We got about 8 questions here, so I'm gonna kind of take the top two or three. And Anthony, if you want to maybe ask Donnie a couple questions while I gather these.
Yeah, the app, that all sounds really cool. That's a good service that you're offering athletes. One thing that came to mind when you were just discussing your background is I was wondering if you had dealt with any injuries in your career. It sounded like you had a lot of days where, like you said, you played multiple games and practices and all sorts of stuff. I was just thinking that sounded like a lot of volume.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, it wasn't not a normal day if you didn't have some kind of injury or something going on with your shoulders or with your arms, with your legs. You know, my worst thing was my knees because I started out as a catcher, and then I got moved to middle infield. So yeah, my knees were really bad. My throwing arm is it's junk right now. To be honest with you, I wish I could go back and have that all over to do with because there's a lot of things I would have tried a little bit different than what I would now.
Yeah. What was kind of some of your training like? Were you in the gym, or was it just all playing baseball?
No, I mean, we started out normally about 4 o'clock in the morning. I would get up and we start a light jog to a light run and get ready, then get back into the house, get a shower, get ready for school. Then after school, of course, it was baseball, baseball, baseball. Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays without baseball, we normally spend it in the gym doing some kind of cardio, light weights. I never really got into heavy weights. I was a runner. I was trying to keep my speed, so I never got into a lot of heavy weights. I got into a lot of water pull bags and stuff like that, but I mean, nothing really where I would put a lot of strain on my arms or my legs.
Nice. I gotcha. And are you training athletes or anything, or is this the student athlete profile and total athlete profile? Is that taking up all your time these
Uh,
days?
Well, that the profile's pretty much taking up all my time. I'm working with a few kids to help them to better themselves through college and stuff like that. But as far as training anybody, I guess I'd put. I'm trying to get this profile and stuff like this going and getting it out there. But I mean, I spend most of my time working with my sons. I've got a junior that's in high school right now that's probably the best hitter that I've ever seen in my life. I just don't want to tell him that right yet because I mean it's just phenomenal what he can do with the bat. And then I got a 12-year-old that plays shortstop that can probably outplay most 15 to 16 to 17-year-old kids right now that has probably the best soft hands I've ever seen in my life as well. So I work with them, try to better them with where they start better in their career.
Yeah. Wow, that's great.
All right, so I got 3 questions here. So when did you? So this is from Caleb in Wyoming. When did you know that it was time for you to stop playing baseball?
Wow, that's tough. I mean, I stopped playing when I guess my last season was with a team called the Paracos down in Mexico, and I was 35. Um, I just felt like the body couldn't take it no more. I was competing with the young guys. I say that, but you have Miguel Tejada that's down there still playing. So I mean, it's kind of hard to say that because I mean this man's 46, I think, right now, and I mean he's still playing down there in Mexico and making it look like it's simple. So I hate to say it. I mean, over the years, I've never really conditioned myself enough with my arm and stuff like that. And moving over, that's when they moved me from shortstop to second base. I just felt like the wear and tear was on the body, and it was time for me to focus on my sons and really getting them to, to benefit and to build their career. So
And what was the highest level you made it to?
I made it to AAA to a team out of Syracuse, New York,
Wow.
with the Nats, and I was actually in the process of probably going to get my phone call to move on up, and I rolled my ankle on a triple, and it after that, the surgery was prone. It's time to have it. I mean, I've been playing on a bad ankle for the past 2 years, and it was one of the things I couldn't say no to. So I thought coming back off of it and going back down into Mexico to play, it would ease up things with that in my arm, but it just made it worse.
And what year was that?
It was 2015.
Oh wow, that's recent.
Yeah, I was actually, I was playing the best ball in my older days. I guess I got mature, I started playing ball the way I needed to play ball. I wasn't a very big power guy. I didn't hit a whole lot of home runs. I was going to get a home run every 2 to 3 games, 3 games, 4 games. But my biggest thing was I really worked off that tee. I really got it where I could put that baseball pretty much wherever I wanted to. I was a pitcher's nightmare on the plate.
Right. Jake from Arizona, did you play with anyone that is currently in the pros now?
I played with several. I've actually got to play in spring training whenever Bryce Harper was in there with us. Adam as well, Worth. I got to hit against Darvish whenever he was coming back off of his surgery. Several different, infielder, outfielders that are playing as well. It's just hard to say. One of the greatest players I got to play with was out of Japan, Yushio Sagaki or Sakaki, however you say his name. But he was, a born Japan star that was all star over there and was moving over here and then had a bad back injury that, stopped his career. So I get to play with a lot of good professionals out there right now.
Right. So you were with Washington in their major league spring training.
I got to go up there. Washington splits their spring training with the Houston Astros,
right.
And I got to go down there and play in 11 games with them. And everybody wants to talk about the ethic and the work that Harper puts in. You really don't see it. You wouldn't understand it until you see it firsthand. There's a reason why the man's a beast. And as a young age at that time, he don't have no quit. I got to learn from him, and me being older, I got to learn from a younger kid that, there was nobody that was going to stop him. It was his destiny. It was his it was him that was going to take and fulfill his dreams. So nobody was going to get in the way with that. And that meant that he would literally go out there and hit for 2 to 3 hours before and after the games and work out on the bench for it. It was really good to see that, baseball was his prime focus like he was.
Right. And last question, Joe from New Mexico. What professional player did you look up to the most when you were playing?
When I was growing up, it was Ken Griffey, Jr. I thought he had the best plate appearance that there was, and the approach that he always took when he got up there against hitters, I loved it. He loved the game. So, that was my idol growing up was Ken Griffey Jr. I loved him. I wanted to be like him, but on the infield levels.
Probably another guy that had work ethic like Harper did.
Sure. He had the best ethic that you could put in baseball.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much, Donnie. I appreciate you being on, and like I said, get us that information for sure, so that we can update the page, so that people can sign up and let their kids experience the app that you're working on. And I wish you the best of luck with it, and look forward to kind of keeping in touch and seeing where it's going.
I appreciate you very much, Lance. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you, Donnie. It was very nice talking with you. Appreciate
nice to meet you, buddy. Very nice to talk with you.
Thank you, Donnie. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you, sir.
All right, and so if anyone is currently tuning in from Facebook, we are actually going to transition our our new format here for these lives. So if you're tuning in from Facebook, we're going to ask you to join the official Facebook page for latest news, updates, upcoming events. If you're watching through the YouTube page, hit the subscribe button, and you can browse through some of our past live shows and see some of the experts, get a full walkthrough of the program, the platform. You'll also find some of our featured videos on there from past lives. And you'll also see a featured video on our #1 assessment, our movement assessment known as BASE. And like I said, we are going to roll out an entirely new format next week for the ProCAST, and we will still be highlighting some of the top questions we get every week, and keep that content informative and fresh every week as well with that new format, as well as some other ideas that we plan on implementing in the show. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in, and look forward to seeing everyone for the live next week. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you, Lance.